right, so thank you all for coming. It is a real treat to be able to speak to everyone in this room. But if I might set you all aside for a second and talk to the people watching at home on pay-per-view. And to you I say welcome also. And I say welcome in a different way, because if you're like me at all, then you're probably hovering that mouse over the bottom gray bar and you've just realized that you've got about 42 and a half more minutes of me talking about email. And you might be thinking to yourself, boy, that sounds like a long time. But I will tell you this. If you were looking for that little button in the bottom right-hand side of your screen that says you can skip this ad in 4, 3, it's not going to exist. I'm with you for 40 minutes, and if I can just persuade you to stick with me by sharing with you this. What we're going to talk about today, yes, it's email marketing. It's email related. But a couple of things that I hope will persuade you to stay with me for the next 38 minutes. They are that we're going to talk about some best practices, but really we're going to do something a little unique, I think. And we're going to talk a lot about, A, what are the best doing? What are the best companies leveraging email the best doing? How has it taken them from $1 million organizations to $30 million organizations, literally? How little is there between where you're at now from an email standpoint, where you could go, and what difference is that going to make? And I would suggest to you now it's going to make an enormous difference. And I'm going to share some examples of how. So that's number one. What are the best doing? How's it impacting them? And number two, we'll give you tactics, but I'm also going to share with you some tools and show you where to get these tools so that you can, by yourself, or have your marketing people, or whomever at your organization manages your email, find these tools, use them to your benefit. Now, maybe I'm getting fast forwarded and I should talk 8 times slower, but my hope is that we'll get you to stick with us. So, thank you all for joining. The lunchtime speaker. It's great. Love it. So, keep me going. Here we go, right here. Let's talk a little bit about email marketing. I'm going to ask for your participation briefly. When we hear the word email marketing, what do we think? Spam. God, I do this presentation often. I only get one answer, spam. Why do we get that? Why is that true?
That's how it started.
It's how it started? Sure. Why else? Why else do we think spam?
We don't get so much of it.
Because you get so much of it, right? You get so much of it, you go, boy, this is spammy and icky. And even when I come to do these presentations, I see people look at me cross-eyed like, email marketing, really? That's what you do. It is, and it's very different from spam. So let's make that distinction right now. Somewhere, back in the ethos of time, someone said something that went something like this. If we send out 1 million pieces of email, and we get 3 people to respond, we're home free. We're golden. So let's spend 8 seconds writing an email. Let's send out 3 million of them, and we got 1 person to respond. If we do this like 50 times, we're going to be rich. Okay, somewhere that started. And thus, spam was born. Because of that, and because there's no barrier to entry to writing someone an email. Someone who's sitting in their underwear in their basement can do it, and the most sophisticated managing director of a hedge fund in New York can do it. All the same way. And it's free. So anybody can do it. These are the two, if you will, sort of reasons for spam's existence. I would contend the following. I would contend one person's spam is another company's customer retention strategy that works. I would contend that one person's spam is an uber successful company's customer acquisition strategy that works. What's the difference? What's the difference between that email that you hate, that you would never open, and that great customer acquisition strategy from an amazing company that you read all the time?
That pertains to you.
It's relevant? Sure. You know what else? at a basic level, it doesn't bother you. It doesn't irritate you. For example, I don't climb rocks, rock climbers. Is that what they say, climb rocks? Maybe not. I'm not a rock climber, right? If I get an email about shoes for rock climbing, I'm not interested. I don't climb rocks. I don't go outside that much. Not for me, right? As you could potentially tell by it's August where we're filming and I look like this. It's not interesting. But if there's some late breaking news about something going on in downtown St. Louis and the St. Louis Business Journal's pinging me every 8 seconds, bingo. Is that a retention strategy for the St. Louis Business Journal? You better believe it is. They're sending me those emails not because they want me to know, not because it's important to them that I hear. They're sending me those so that I remember the St. Louis Business Journal. Maybe I go on, pay and subscribe. Maybe I advertise. That's a customer retention strategy. But we don't think of it as spam. Why? Sending more frequently. They're hitting me all the time, but I'm interested. That's what we're focused on today. How do we make it so that your email strategy is useful for the people you're targeting? It's value. They're delivering value. How do we deliver value and not try to sell Jeff rock climbing shoes? That's what we want to talk about. So I chose this picture very purposefully. And the reason is because we're going to talk some logistics, which is boring. And we'll do this 2 or 3 times. It's going to be boring, but it's important. There's a couple of ways you can send out emails. One way you can send out email is through your Gmail or your Outlook or your Yahoo or whatever. You write an email, you hit send. Bingo. It's a one-off play. It's great. Works well. Fine. Another way you can send emails, and a way that sort of the larger companies that are sending lots of emails are doing it, is they're using what they call marketing automation tools. You may have heard of some of these tools. Some of you at home are using these tools. There are things like ExactTarget, Pardot, Acton, etc. There's hundreds of them. The bottom line that you need to understand for the purpose of this discussion is, number one, they are really helpful in terms of tracking email recipient behavior. So we're going to talk a lot of metrics. If you're using a Yahoo account, you can't track your metrics, okay? Number two, although we're going to share a tool that'll help, not as well as these tools. And number two, you're not going to be able to send out 1 million emails in a shot, right? You can't click a button, send 1 million. So it's important. This is one email going to one person in a bottle. Next, and quickly, if you followed the Abstrakt Sales Academy, as I know everyone has, there have been some really amazing presentations, very valuable, inspiring, all that sort of thing. But also there's been some talk about lists, right? Finding lists, creating lists, purging lists. There are many in this room and many at home who are far better equipped to talk about building an email list than I am. So I'm not going to do it. But what I will say is it's relevant to the topic, right? If you've got a bad email list, right? You got that list of some old customers from a business you used to be a part of, that you could legally take, of course. You got, Aunt June used to run a business and she's got a couple of 100 names. You got some friends and family, some old boyfriends and girlfriends. You got kind of not such a great list for your prospecting for your business, right? That's probably not a great list. On the other side of the spectrum, you've got this amazingly engaged list of people who love your rock climbing shoes, right? You make rock climbing shoes and they climb rocks and they love climbing rocks and they love your shoes and they want to receive stuff about your shoes. I don't, but they do. Fine. Those are two different scenarios. You got to look at those differently. So think about that in your head as we're going through. We're going to focus more on sort of the latter. Aunt June's business, some people you know, friends and family, old boyfriends and girlfriends. Because frankly, that's probably what most people are dealing with. And I think collectively in this room, that's what we deal with more frequently. Okay. Here's the scenario. Okay? Everybody says that subject lines are important. And of course they're important. The next good question is how important. On the next slide, don't go there yet, on the next slide, you're going to see a statistic that says almost a third of people open or do not open emails based on subject lines alone. 1/3. That is an outrageous stat. If you are not alarmed, it's because you are eating lunch or not listening, because that is an important statistic, okay? Or both. So, what does that mean for us, right? What's the implication, okay? Well, I'll tell you one. I don't know if you all write emails this way, but I'm sure someone you know or someplace you've been, you've constructed emails in the following way. There's 3 people in a room. You spent days drafting this email, right? It's a great email. It's 3 paragraphs. It's beautiful. It's concise. It's what we do. It's why we're different. And then you're about to send it and you go, hey, Scott, what kind of subject line should we use for this? And I say, you know, I'm thinking Jeff's rock climbing shoes. Obviously, Jeff's rock climbing. It's a great subject line. Rock climbing shoes, I'm Jeff. It's beautiful. That's the name of the business. Think about that. You spend 6 hours crafting this email that 70% of the people won't read because you've got a terrible subject line. You spent 19 seconds on the subject line. Jeff's rock climbing shoes. I'm Jeff, rock climbing. Not a good idea. The implication is, think about how much time you're spending on the rock climbing shoe email, and think about how much time you're spending on the subject line. So from a time perspective, it requires thought, requires a little research, maybe requires some testing. Some other interesting stats, and you can see this 33% of email recipients open emails based on subject line alone. It's just, I was shocked when I found it. It's a staggering, amazing statistic. So now what's the tactical implication? What can we do here? What can we improve, and how can we improve it? So there's a few best practices that we promote and we subscribe to, right? Well, before I do that, can anybody remember a great subject line of an email that they opened recently? Anything come to mind? Never does anybody answer that question. Isn't that weird? Nobody ever remembers a subject line.
Don't forget to use
Your bills do.
Yeah.
He said your bills do. Okay. That's a good one. What else?
Don't forget to use your rewards.
Don't forget to use your rewards. Okay, now let's get a little analytical here. Now I'm going to throw it out to the group. What is a commonality between those two subject lines? And I didn't plant these people.
They require action.
They require action, or another word for that starts is urgency. Hit me.
Fear.
Fear. Urgency. Best practice number 1, urgency. Create urgency. Not false urgency, not pay your bill, it's due, and they open it up, and I'm selling you balloons for birthday parties. That kind of urgency. That's illegal. What I'm talking about is urgency that makes people want to open. Urgency. Okay? What was that subject line again? Your bills due. 3 words. Subject lines with more than 3 words experience a drop in open rate by over 60%. Your bills due. Bingo. Urgency and under 3 words. Your bills due. Whose bills due? Personalized. Personalized emails, including the recipient's first name and the subject line, have higher open rates. I swear to God I didn't plant him, but next time he's coming with me. Your bills due. We never have people remember subject lines. Somebody remembers 1, 2, and it meets all of the best practice criteria. If they would have had the word video or infographic in there, it would have hit for the cycle. Because that's a last best practice. Include the word video in your subject line, especially if you're forwarding this one, as I'm sure many of you will. Some really important best practices for subject lines. Use them, they will work. What I'm about to say now, I will say 5 times throughout this presentation. It is this: the difference between a great email campaign and an awful email campaign is this. The question before you is, what do you have to adjust? What is this? What do you have to adjust? Is it your subject line? Is it your content? Is it your list? But literally, we've had word changes take an email from here to here. And it makes millions of dollars of difference. Okay? Where do you read your emails? Who didn't say phone? You didn't participate. He said I didn't say anything. If you can't hear, everybody in the room said phone. You're not alone, okay? 65% of people on average are reading their emails on something other than a desktop. You probably went, of course they are, right? This room skews a little younger, so you're gonna have a little higher incidence of people reading not on desktops. But think about it. Okay, great. Everybody in this room reads emails on their phones. How many of you send a test email to your phone to see how it looks before you send it out. Very few. Okay? Why not? Why not? We know intuitively we read on our phones. Almost everybody does. Yet, when we send emails, we don't test them on the phone. Everybody's guilty. Okay? Here's my favorite. It's my favorite part of the whole presentation right here. The win, fail, win piece. Can you see this? The win. This is my second favorite part. I got a good one coming up later. The win, fail, win. Do you see this? Okay? If you can't, I'm going to read it out loud. You've got 3 emails that appear in a mock iPhone inbox. Okay? Not only do you see the subject line, not only do you see the sender, but you see 2 lines of preview text. This is so important. How many emails do you open or not open based on that preview text? Lots. So, one says, get your refund fast with e-file. Okay, I might be interested in that. Another says, if you'd like to view this email in a web browser, please click here. That is not good. That is not, I'm not going, wow, I could view this in a web browser. That would be sick. From my phone. What like a great switch from digital to analog. I could go backwards. It's so sweet. Maybe they're going to give me dial-up or rotary dial phones. Bad news, okay? I have seen people, shown them this on phones, they've changed it, their open rates have increased 35%, and their revenues have increased tens of thousands of dollars. One change, because nobody opened this. Okay? What's the best practice here? 1, test on your phones. 2, make sure the preview text looks good. 3, I said it in the beginning, there are going to be tools. Here's a great one. Lipness. It is a tool that enables you to preview how emails look on everything from iOS 7 to Lotus Notes 3. It will ensure that you are able to consistently write emails that appear great on phones and iPads and Outlook and AOL. Lipness, great tool. Okay, this is one of the other 2 points in the presentation that gets boring and wonky, okay? I would lead with this. It's the most important thing I'm going to say, but everybody would leave, and I'd lose the huge audience that I'm maintaining right now with my charm. Okay? So, this is the most important stuff I'm going to say. How many of you check your junk or spam folder every day? 2. How many of you check it once a week? Some. How many of you never check it? There's some hands going up and down in the room if you can't see, okay? On average, people are checking it every couple of weeks. I talked to a high-level executive at a Fortune 50 company recently, and she said to me, our spam filters have gotten so sophisticated that my boss, who reports to the CEO of this enormous company, can't get an email to my inbox from his Gmail, from his personal email. She gets it report at the end of the day with all her spam, and her boss's emails are in there. And he's going, what's going on? He's going, I should be able to do that. It can't, doesn't. So, we can't fix that problem, right? Spam filters are getting more and more complex. However, what we can do is make it so that we get our emails in inboxes more frequently because we're delivering really good value. So, I'm going to explain this quickly. I use the term email client, Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL. You get the point. Okay? We all think Google's pretty smart, right? They got the Google Glass, they got the thing with the roads, they're going to have self-drive cars, they're pretty smart. Yahoo's pretty smart. Microsoft's pretty smart. Okay? At some point, though they didn't tell me, I surmised this, they started creating algorithms that said, hey, you know what? This is spam looking. Shoot it to spam. And over time, those have gotten really, really, really smart. To the point where I can send Chris Gooding at his Abstrakt email an email with the same subject, same body, as an email that I sent to Scott Scully at his Abstrakt email. And because of how they've behaved with emails I've sent in the past differently, one's going to go to inbox and one's going to go to junk. They are paying attention in real time to your emails. Okay? If you're sending emails one-off through Outlook, doesn't matter. If you're sending thousands, these are paying attention to every little thing in your email. And what they're doing is, though I don't have any proof, They're scoring it on a 1 to 10 scale or 1 to 100 or whatever, and if you get over a certain score, you go to spam. Many things trigger this spam. You can beat it. If you're delivering value to the customers or the prospects, you can beat it. Here's how. You write emails that people read. If people engage with your emails, they're more likely to go to the inboxes of everybody who you send it to. Right? Number one. Number two, test it. Create a dummy Gmail account, dummy Yahoo, dummy Outlook, dummy AOL. Send to those before you send to anybody. And then you can tweak variables. You go, it's going to spam. Why is that? Well, it's because this box is supposed to be here, instead it's supposed to be here. Boom, goes to inbox. Monster difference, okay? Last two things you can do. First is called authentication. It's technical. The idea is that you want, if you're sending from one of these larger senders, which many of you are, you want that sender to tell your recipient's inbox that that's coming from you and not from them. If you call them, they'll tell you how to do it. If they haven't told you already, they should. That's number one. And then number two is to make sure that your domain that you're sending from, @abstractmg, for example, is still very high reputation. There's no reason it wouldn't be, but you have to monitor that stuff. This is the exciting part if you're nerdy like me, okay? This is like the meat and potatoes of this presentation. It's email metric tracking. Now again, if you're following the Abstract Marketing Sales Academy series, you know the metrics matter, right? We're building up. We're going, how many does it do this? And how many do we take to do that? And how many do we take to do that? And then boom, we send this. Or we make these calls, or whatever, right? This is the crux of that discussion, okay? Many people come to me and they say, Jeff, sent out 1,000 emails. What's a good open rate? Come on, what is it? 10, 12, 14? What do you think? Look at this guy. He said 17, which is the number that's coincidentally on the board. It's like a genius. How did they find these guys? So, HR director's laughing. 17% is the U.S. median. Mildly interesting. Here's what's more interesting. The top 25% of the U.S. are getting in the 40s. The bottom 25 for the U.S. are below 1. What's that tell us? Somebody tell me what that tells us. There's a really right and a really wrong way to do it. And there's huge variance. Okay? If you follow the best practices, you get to 17, you get to 18, you get to 20, you get to 40. We've got clients at 68.5%. They want me to marry their children. I mean, it's like they are so happy because of every 100 emails they send to register for their service, 68.5 get opened. Think about the difference between 68.5 people opening your email out of 100 or 12. What's that mean for the business? What it means for this particular business that I'm talking about is literally millions of dollars in revenue. They're driving people to register at their website, and they are paying a monthly fee to register. Millions of dollars because of that one difference. Now, there's a caveat with open rates. Okay? Open rates can fool you because sometimes Gmail and Yahoo and AOL, they'll say, he opened it, but he didn't. And sometimes they'll say, she didn't open it. She did. So what does that mean? Does it mean open rates are useless? No, not at all. If you have a consistent list and you're consistently around the same benchmark, then you can follow trends and patterns, right? It's not the end-all be-all. That's what it means. It's going to be a limited number, but you should know it. What doesn't do that? What's 100% right? Click-through rate. Somebody tell me, what is a click-through rate? You click on a link in an email, okay? Over time, click-through rates have gone down. Does anybody have any reason why you think click-through rates over time have gone down? Yes. Viruses, exactly right. Viruses. People are clicking on links less. How can you combat that? Don't have links in your email. Okay, that's one option.
Make the content trustworthy.
Make the content trustworthy. Bingo. Right? Make the content trustworthy. Let somebody know that they're not clicking on a link to a virus. Because you're not sending them a virus. You're sending them something useful, it's valuable for their business, or it's going to help them get rock climbing shoes. Send them something valuable. Be trusted. The reason click-through rates are so important is it's a no-fake measure of engagement. Somebody clicks a link and you get a report that they clicked it. They're now seeing your next piece of content. It's great. One thing we monitor that many don't is the click-to-open ratio. Okay? The click-to-open ratio is the idea of how many people are clicking your email link in your email, relative to how many people are opening it. Whereas the click link is how many people are clicking relative to how many people receive it. Does anybody want to make a leap as to why that's important?
So if somebody reads through it and they're not engaged, they're not going to click your links.
Exactly right. It enables you to draw conclusions based on the compellingness of your content, right? So for example, you send out 100 emails. 3 people click. You're going, that's okay. But only 4 people opened. So if you got 3 people clicking and 4 people opening, all right, bingo, good, that's great. We know it's compelling content. We just got to tweak the open. If you have 3 people clicking and 10,000 people opening, then you're going, content's not very good. That's thoughtful. That's the reason. It's because it allows you to make conclusions based on content. Okay? A great resource to use to determine what's going on with your emails, right? Which email is working and why? They call A/B testing. Everybody familiar with A/B testing? Somebody help me out with A/B testing. What's that mean? Hit me. You look like you might have something to say. I take it back. I lied. A/B testing is the idea, okay? A/B testing is the idea that you can take something, anything, with metrics, but we'll use email. Email 1 that you send to 10,000 people, and email 2 that you send to 5,000 people, and you can explain to someone that 1 works better statistically, right? In marketing, as we all know, we're moving sort of away from creative a little bit, still important, but more statistically driven, right? We got to incorporate that, statistics. So what this will enable you to do is say, with 95% confidence, this email is better than that email. Interesting. There's a great tool on HubSpot. There's an A/B test calculator. It's worth using. Make you sound smart, makes me sound smart. It's valuable to clients, it's valuable internally. It's really helpful when you can say to a client, hey look, not only do we think this email is working better, but we're 95% confident that this email works better than this email. Or that this phone call talk track works better than this phone call talk track. Or that this time to call someone is better than this time to call someone. It's an incredibly useful statistical tool. I encourage you to play with it and try it out. How am I doing on time? Just give me the high sign at 10 minutes, will you? Cool. I find this interesting. May not. Okay? There's a great study on how people read emails. I don't know how they figure this out, but I guess they track the eyes. Okay? What they found was that people read in an F-shaped pattern. Okay. Why is this important? It's where you want the most valuable content, is what many people said, and they're all right. Now, tell me about how this plays into mobile. We learned about mobile, now we know F-shaped. So now what? What's the next logical conclusion?
The emails have to be short, or else you can't see it.
You're jumping ahead of me because you know me. He said the emails have to be short, that is right. But what's the next logical conclusion as it relates to this? This is analytical. So if we've got phones, 65%, right, non-desktop, and we've got F-shaped email reading, we got to make F-shaped email content for the phone, right, if we can. That's what the best are doing. They know this stuff. You think you're getting emails by happenstance? You're not. You're getting emails. Somebody is smart. They have done research. If you're getting it in your inbox and you're clicking it, they know that. And they're doing it very purposefully. And you look at your phone next time you get a great email. You tell me where that link is. I bet you anything it's in the top left corner of that email. Or the middle left of that email. That is very purposeful. That is very smart. And someone has done their homework. And if you do that, you will be more successful. If you include video, your clicks will go up. Viruses, right? Viruses are a problem. People don't want to click links because they're not trustworthy, right? People don't want to click links because it's not interesting. Video sort of solves both of those. It's interesting. It's A, trustworthy. You generally can get a YouTube link in that site, so if people see YouTube, they're a little more apt to click, right? It's a very trustworthy source. So it sort of conquers a couple of issues, and it's great value for the customer or the prospect. Another interesting thing, I don't know if you can see this, it says right here, display images below. How many people know that link? Do you want to display images? How many people click that? I don't know, maybe, sort of, sometimes, right? Why is that important? Because people send emails with huge big block images and then the text is 7 paragraphs below. Terrific. If you look at that on your phone, you get a big block, big X, no images displayed. That's it. You got to scroll for 4 minutes to get to the text. You don't know that's happening, but that's happening. People are not going to read your emails if you've got a big X. That's all on that point. I keep talking about a little bit about like what the best are doing, right? So, what are the people who are using email in the most sophisticated way doing? And why is it working and who are they? Okay? The first is that they're segmenting recipients. Okay? And let me give you a window into how granular they're getting. We do some work with a t-shirt company, right? 5-6 million in sales. If you buy a green t-shirt, you are now in their system. The next email you get in 4 days is about a green t-shirt. If you don't buy that green t-shirt, they know the people that are going to buy green t-shirts are most likely to buy orange t-shirts next. They've done the analysis. I kid you not. Then you get an email about an orange t-shirt. Then you get an email about a discounted green t-shirt, and on and on and on and on. You are all in these systems. You are all in someone's CRM that is triggering emails to you on a regular basis. And the good ones are using tons of data, and they're feeding you emails you want. For example, is it spam if Amazon sends me an email that says, hey, those diapers you buy every 90 seconds that cost you a fortune, right? Now you can get them for 20% off. Do I want that email? You better believe I want that email. Give me all those emails. If you get those emails, send them to me. They're smart. We all hear a lot about digital cooking, right? The idea that they're going to people follow you around the internet based on interest. They're going to target you based on the snow boots you almost bought 8 years ago, right? I've been getting True Religion jean retargeting ads for 8 years. I bought one pair. Like, I'm not a True Religion thing. It doesn't work for me, but neither here nor there. Email is the same way. They know your patterns. They know patterns of people like you, and they will target you based on the emails. If you're not doing it, it's a huge opportunity missed. If you're not at the very least saying if somebody clicks a link, they get this email. If somebody visits the office, they get this email. And let it run itself. It's amazing the impact this stuff has. And it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense if you're segmenting based on what you like. I'm able to personalize those emails. And if I'm able to personalize those emails, I'm able to make more trusted, so I get more links. I'm able to use it in subject lines, so I get more opens. I'm able to make a relationship, so people will read. It enables you to learn and to make the emails personal and to get your open rates up and to sell more product to customers who want it. I talk about integrating with the CRM. It's so neat to say, right? Well, we'll integrate with the CRM, right? You call the CRM company, they go, we integrate with everything. We integrate with 9 million apps. We've got a particular CRM expert in this room who's smiling, who's saying they do. They integrate with everything. Integrating email with the CRM could not be more important. If you take nothing away from what I'm saying today, I implore you to integrate your email with your CRM. You will learn so much. You will learn amazing things about your customers that you never knew. It will help you keep customers. It will help you get customers based on how they're behaving with email. Take nothing else away, do that. The idea of frequency is really important, okay? The difference between an interesting email and a spammy email is sometimes how often you get it, okay? The best are testing for this all the time. When do we send it? what time, what day, what's best, to a point where you're sitting there, you're going, how often they test, how much? It's constant. I get calls almost every day. Did we do that test on the Sunday, 3:30 p.m. with a 4-day wait before the second email, before the 6-day wait before the third email yet? What are the results? That's what they want to know. That's what the people who are using it to the max want to know. When is the exact best time to send an email to get the best results? Because it really matters. We've seen time swings of, and we'll put it in our context, right? Talk about securing a sales meeting. We found that if you sent an email on Monday at 9 versus sending it on Tuesday at 3, the difference is like 200%. 200%. That is so relevant to everybody in this room, right? So I'm going to get 10 meetings if I send an email on Monday at 9, but I'm going to get 30 if I send it on Tuesday at 6? I think I'll send it on Tuesday at 6. That makes sense to me. Think of the implication for your business. Think of the implication for your business. Time, date, frequency. All that stuff matters, and you don't realize how granularly this stuff is tracked by those that are doing it the best. All right. I took the picture of my kid with the headset on, right? And I built backwards from that. I said, I don't know what I'm going to put on this slide, but I know I got the kid with the headset. Looks like he's typing an email. Just going in. I don't know. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but that's where we started, and I built backwards from that, right? That's him. It's Charlie. That's what we buy the diapers for. Let's bring this really down to your world, to my world, to our world. Let's talk about it as very strictly as a prospecting tool. We've talked about things in the abstract. Let's talk about it as a prospecting tool to schedule meetings. How we use email. Here's my argument. You all may disagree. Great phone calls, great emails. Schedule sales meetings. My opinion, there's no better combination, right? Because some people you can't reach by phone, am I right? Some people you can't reach by email, I'll tell you that for sure. And it's different. You don't know who they are. But if you're doing both really well, at a really high level, you're getting that middle circle. So, does that mean we should just send emails to everybody and schedule sales meetings? Probably not. Okay, probably not. But how can it aid us? How can it support us? How can it enhance our calling efforts? I'd contend this. I'd contend that if you send a compelling email as part of a phone calling program that is 3/4 as sophisticated as the Abstrakt phone calling program, you will dramatically increase results. Here's why. Because if you're paying attention to the metrics, people will remember you sent the emails. Now, maybe you're sitting there going, we've sent some emails, I've called, they got no clue I sent that email. Maybe those people don't. Maybe those people don't. But if somebody's clicked a link, they will remember you, right? They'll remember you. If you wrote a clever email and you call and you go, hey, wrote you this email a couple weeks ago. Kind of interesting, no? It was about this, this, and this. Tried to squeeze a joke in there. Oh yeah, I remember that guy. I remember that person. I liked that email. Hey, I wrote you an email. Maybe tugged at the heartstring a little. Told you a story, painted a vivid picture about a, rock climbing shoe and a guy who loves to climb rocks. Yeah, you know what? I do remember that email. That's a warmer cold call. Am I right? To me, that's, if we can just get that, if we can just achieve that, if we can leave here and go internally, we can go, hey, this is a warmer cold call. It's a big deal, right? That's the difference between scheduling an appointment and not scheduling an appointment. It's the difference between calling somebody's office and them going, is he expecting you? And you going, I told him I'd call him right now. And I'm going, you know what? Yeah. Hey, I sent you that email. It's kind of funny. I like that. Yeah, I remember that. Now you got a little relationship, you got a little rapport, right? Something we're all trying to build and do better at. Building that initial rapport. This can do that for you. How? Okay. Timing. Timing is so important. No one will remember an email they got 2 weeks ago. Doesn't happen. They'll remember an email they got yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. How do you prioritize your calls? If you're asking me, you take people that are opening, that are clicking, you're looking at these metrics and you're prioritizing that way. Because they'll remember. They really will. Now, One word to the wise, one word of caution. If you do the following, it will be creepy. If you go, hey Scott, great to talk to you. I saw you open my email 3 times yesterday, twice in the evening after midnight. Not sure what you were doing, but I appreciate it. Call me anytime. Good to see. I saw you clicked on that link. What'd you think of the link? That's not cool. Nobody likes that. That's creepy. That's bad. That's poor form, right? But you can sort of make some assumptions, right? Not about why he's reading my email after hours, but about they read it, right? They read it 9 times. I opened my email 9 times. They probably remember me. They probably read it. But let's just not reference the fact that I know that, right? And it's probably not a best practice. This is our last slide, the home stretch. Very relevant to everyone. Best practices for content writing. If we had gone through all this and you had not seen this slide and you paid a little attention, you would know that this is probably going to be it. If you're hanging around in pay-per-view land this long, I am uber grateful. If you fast forward to this point, you joined us at a great spot. This is really important. What's a call to action?
Next step.
Next step. What can they be? It's an example. Huh? Call me. Call me.
Click here.
Click here. If you were going to put call me somewhere, where would you want to put it? Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot. You can put call me. Huh? Maybe the title. Where else might you put it?
Middle of the body.
Middle of the body, right? Maybe toward that F-shaped top left. Where do we usually put call me? The end, right? Right at the end, right there where everybody's going to look at it. Maybe like on the right, too. It's the most important part of your email. Call me, yeah. Click here, bottom right. On mobile, below the fold, yeah. We do that all the time. I look at emails, I go, what are we doing? Click here, put it where people are reading. Put it at the top. Put it in the middle, squeeze it in. Make it look good on mobile. It makes a big difference. Compelling. What's that mean? Compelling. Relevant. Interesting, right? Here's what I'd say. When you're thinking about writing an email, when you sit down and somebody tasks you, or you're doing it yourself, or you're in charge of, or whatever the position is, somebody says, we're going to write a great marketing email. We got a new product launch. We're excited, right? You think of yourself, I'm in the email writing business, but you're not. You are in the attention-getting business. Okay? That's what you're doing in the first 3 sentences of that email. You're in the attention-getting business, and everywhere thereafter, you're in the attention-keeping business. Shift your mindset to that, and you will start to think about those first 3 sentences differently. I skipped it 2 slides ago, but there's a great question people ask during email writing. They go, hey, there's 3 of us in the room. Would you read this if you got it? Would you read it? Anybody ask that question, right? Would you read this? What would you do? You know what the answer to that question is? Who cares? Doesn't matter if you'd read it. What does it matter if I'd read an email about rock climbing shoes? I don't climb rocks. I don't go outside. We talked about this. What matters is, are the recipients going to read it? Not are you going to read it. You don't know anything about rock climbing shoes. You don't know the first thing about how someone who enjoys rock climbing shoes would react to this email. Would they read it? Would they read it? That's important. What's compelling? Is it compelling to them? Is this a group of people who'd value a little humor up front? Is this a group of people that would value a really vividly painted picture up front? Is this a group of people who are so fact-based that they value some evidence up front? That's what compelling means. Compelling is different to each and every one of you, to each and every one of your recipients, and the only way you will know if something is compelling is by looking at the numbers. Conversational. What do we want to avoid? Okay? And I hate to say this, because a lot of us do it. He said selling, and he's right. But selling in the following formula-driven way. My name is X. I work at Y company. We do this. We are different because of this. I'd like to schedule an email. I'd like you to come over. I'd like you to buy something. I'd like you to register. My name is Jeff. Thank you. Okay. Those emails are getting written by every company all over the country. Same way. It's groupthink. People get together. Those are the emails. Okay? Is that conversational? Is that how you talk to your friend? Hi, my name's Matt. I work at Abstrakt. We do this. We're different because of this. No, it's not. And people know that. And people don't want to read those emails. People want to read conversational emails. Yeah? Hey, Jeff, looking at the business. I see y'all are doing some really great things in terms of growth. We help companies grow in a number of different ways. Yeah, I know in your particular market, it's a really competitive area. We've got some great experience there. If you want, check out our website. We'd love to chat with you and share how we can help. If not, don't worry about it. I'm going to send you emails twice a day for the next 6 weeks until you relent. That email works like a charm, okay? I'd make it a note not to share that, but I did. So now it's out there for the universe. That's an email. That's something somebody wants to read. That shows I did a little research. It's conversational. It's personalized. It's interesting. It's mildly humorous. Somebody remembers that email if you call. I guarantee you somebody remembers that email. That's a way better call than here's what we do, here's why we're different, call me. Totally different. Grammar and spelling, I hate to put it, but you got to put it, right? I mean, if you have a repeated word or you have a colon where you should have a paragraph and the recipient is any level of detail orientation or sophistication or reads good, I mean, you're in bad shape. Nobody's going to read that. Who wants to work with you if you've got a tense problem? Nobody, And it's little things. It's like, I hoped you'd enjoy this. It's like, no, I hope you enjoy this. Let's write in the active voice. Little stuff. It makes a big difference. How am I doing? That's it. There's no more. The last thing I want to talk about is, that second to last thing I want to talk about is legal, right? So you should know there's laws out there about email. They're very, very evident online. You can find them. There are certain things you can and can't do. And I'm no lawyer, but I know that you can't have a presentation like this without bringing them up. There's a federal Can't Spam Act. There's a state Can't Spam Act. Look them up. Make sure you're in compliance. It's very easy to comply, but you got to make sure you do it. So in conclusion, what do we know? What do we know now that we didn't know how many minutes ago? 45? 45? What do we know now? Hopefully something. F-shaped. F-shaped. That's what you got out of this. F-shaped. He said F-shaped. To prepare for this for 6 weeks, he got F-shaped. What?
You don't really like the True Religion jeans. Is that your...
I'm not a True Religion jean guy. Well done. Right. I love rock climbing. I got kids that wears lots of diapers. What'd you say?
Where to put call.
Where to put call. Look.
That was good.
Thank you. Where to put call.
Spend time on your subject.
Spend time on your subject.
There's a science to this.
There's a science to this. There really is. So glad you said that. There's a real science to it.
Make sure your email looks good on a cell phone.
Make sure your email looks good on a cell phone. Boy, if you're going to take a couple of things, take that. Take that.
Spend more than 19 seconds on the title.
More than 19 seconds on the title or subject. Absolutely. What else? I got nothing from this side of the room. Give me one thing, this side of the room, please.
Link. Keep it in the F shape.
Keep in the F shape. Keep the link in the F shaped.
3 words.
3 words in the subject. Your bills due. It's a great subject.
First 3 sentences.
First 3 sentences. What about the first 3 sentences?
They need to grab their attention.
You're in the attention-getting business. Get their attention. This has been really great. I very much appreciate the time. Being a part of the Abstrakt family is, amazing for me. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to work with all of you as closely as I do. And thank you again for having me. Download the presentation. So long.